They pulled her out her own car at gunpoint, calling her a thief, a liar, a criminal. The crowd recorded, the officers sneered, the situation escalating by the second. But what no one knew, not the crowd, not the cops, not even the man who had called 911, was that this so-called car thief wasn't just innocent. She was an undercover FBI agent investigating those very same officers. And the moment her badge came out, the entire case blew wide open. It was supposed to be an ordinary Tuesday. The city was alive with its usual chaos. Honking cars, late trains, coffee in one hand and a phone in the other. For Agent Maya Richardson, however, nothing about her day was ordinary. She wasn't just a driver heading home after work. She was in the middle of the biggest undercover operation of her career, one that could expose an entire network of dirty cops. But as she unlocked her black 2023 Lexus in a crowded downtown parking lot, everything went sideways. The roar of tires, the sudden screech of brakes, and then, hands in the air, step away from the vehicle. Maya froze, keys in hand. 3 patrol cars box her in. Officers jumped out, weapons drawn, shouting commands as though she were an armed fugitive. Put your hands where we can see them. Step away from the car. Her pulse thundered, not from fear of guilt. The car was hers, registered in her name, but from the terrifying realization they weren't here by accident. This was a setup. The crowd gathered instantly. Phones rose into the air, recording everything. In a world where every mistake went viral, this scene was already trending. Out of the car, one officer barked, his weapon steady. Maya raised her hand slowly. Calm, controlled. Every FBI instinct telling her not to escalate. This is my car, she said firmly, her voice carrying. Registered under Maya Richardson. Check the plate, check my ID. But the officers didn't budge. Instead, one of them, Sergeant Cole, tall, broad, face red with arrogance, sneered at her. Funny, that's the same story car thieves always tell. Maya's jaw tightened. She could play the civilian role. She could de-escalate. But the way Cole looked at her told her the truth. This wasn't about suspicion. This was personal. Behind him, another officer whispered something into his radio. Maya's ears caught it. She fits the description. Description? Her stomach twisted. That phrase. She had heard it too many times in her life. Too many times it meant the same thing. Black, female, in the wrong place at the wrong time. But this time was different. This time, she had something they didn't know about. Something that could flip the entire script. Her FBI credentials. But revealing them too soon could blow her entire operation. And yet, keeping quiet could cost her life. As Cole circled her car, his flashlight beam darting across the windows, Maya caught the inconsistencies piling up. First, the 911 caller had claimed a woman was trying to hotwire a Lexus in the lot. But her key fob was in plain sight, and the car lights blinked open when she pressed it. Second, Cole claimed the plate didn't match. But Maya had memorized every digit of her license plate, and it was correct. Third, when another officer checked the VIN against the system, he hesitated, then quickly said, "It's stolen." Too quickly, too rehearsed. Maya's training kicked in. They weren't investigating her. They were covering something up. Her voice cut sharp through the chaos. Run the VIN again, out loud, for everyone here to hear. The crowd leaned in. The phone zoomed closer, but Cole's glare was lethal. "Shut up, lady. You're digging your own grave." Maya's pulse hammered. She could see it now. The threads of corruption, the lies, the setup, and the terrifying possibility that they already knew who she was. Hands behind your back. Cole barked, stepping closer with cuffs. Maya stepped back instinctively. "I told you this is my car. You're making a mistake." But he lunged, grabbing her wrist, yanking hard. The crowd erupted, shouts, screams, phones trembling in shaky hands as they recorded. Maya's instincts flared. She twisted out of his grip with a controlled move, not striking him, but making it clear she wasn't helpless. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Cole's face turned crimson, resisting arrest. "Oh, you're done." Another officer moved in. Then another. In seconds, Maya was surrounded. Guns pressed closer. Her options narrowed. Reveal her FBI identity and blow months of undercover work. Stay silent and risk being another tragic headline. And as Cole shoved her against the hood of her own car, whispering in her ear, the choice became even clearer. You should have stayed quiet, Agent Richardson. Her blood froze. He knew her cover wasn't just blown. It had been targeted. The officers weren't just mistaken. They were the very ring of corrupt cops she had been investigating for months. And now, cornered in front of 100 witnesses, they were about to erase her. But Maya wasn't the type to go quietly. Through gritted teeth, she whispered back to Cole, "You just made the biggest mistake of your life." With a sharp motion, she yanked her necklace chain free. From it dangled a badge gleaming, undeniable FBI. The crowd gasped. Phones zoomed closer. "Federal Bureau of Investigation," she shouted, her voice cutting through the night. "You are all under investigation for corruption, racketeering, and obstruction of justice." The officers froze, stunned, and then chaos. Cole barked an order. The officers raised their weapons. The crowd screamed, and Maya realized a horrifying truth. Her badge might not save her. It might have just signed her death warrant. The crowd was screaming now. Phones flashing in every direction, voices shouting the officers to put their guns down. Chaos unraveling so fast it was impossible to tell who was in control anymore. Maya's badge gleamed in the floodlights, but instead of lowering their weapons, the officers stepped closer, their barrels steady, their jaws tight with the kind of reckless rage that made her blood run cold. "FBI." Cole spat, his face twisted in disbelief and hatred. "You think that badge saved you tonight?" The words weren't just a threat. They were a sentence. Maya's mind raced. She could fight, but in front of this many civilians, one wrong move could end with blood all over the pavement. Then she noticed it, a man in the crowd, not recording like the others, not even moving, just watching. Sunglasses on at night, a faint smirk on his lips, and on his wrist, the same serpent insignia she'd seen in the classified files. He wasn't a bystander. He was their handler. The conspiracy wasn't just about dirty cops. It was bigger, darker, and standing 20 feet away, enjoying the show. Cole's voice boomed. "Agent or not, you're under arrest." The cuffs slammed around her wrists. And just like that, the FBI's top undercover agent was dragged toward the squad car, not as law enforcement, but as a criminal. The holding cell smelled of sweat, bleach, and despair. Maya sat on the cold bench, wrists aching, watching the clock tick past midnight. She had demanded to call the Bureau, demanded her rights, demanded access to her superior. But every request was met with the same response. "Sit down and shut up." They knew who she was. They just didn't care. Through the bars, she caught glimpses of Sergeant Cole talking in hushed tones with two men in suits. Men she didn't recognize, but their demeanor screamed federal. Except not FBI. Something worse. One of them slid a thick folder across the desk. Maya squinted. Even upside down, she recognized the seal. Department of Justice. Why would DOJ agents be conspiring with local cops against her? Unless the rot went deeper than she ever imagined. Her phone was gone. Her badge confiscated. Every tool she had as an agent stripped away. But Maya had one weapon left, her memory. And she remembered every word Cole had whispered. Every face in that crowd. Every insignia. They thought locking her up would silence her. But all they had done was confirm everything. Hours passed. The cell door creaked open. Two officers yanked Maya to her feet. "Let's go," one muttered. She expected an interrogation room. Bright light, table, threats. But instead, they marched her to the precinct's basement, a place with no cameras, a place where screams wouldn't matter. The room was dim, concrete walls damp with age. And sitting at the center, on a folding chair, was the man with the serpent insignia. He removed his sunglasses slowly, revealing sharp eyes that never blinked. "Agent Richardson," he said smoothly, as though they were old acquaintances. "You've been very busy." Maya's jaw tightened. She didn't answer. He continued, flipping through a file that had her name plastered across it. FBI's rising star, decorated, relentless, and foolish enough to think she could expose us. Her heart pounded. He knew everything. The man leaned forward. Let me make this simple. Walk away. Drop your investigation. Or disappear forever. Maya's silence was deliberate. She had faced killers before, liars before, traitors before. But something about this man, the way the cops stood behind him like soldiers, made her realize she wasn't just dealing with corruption. This was organized, systematic, a brotherhood. And now they had her. They thought she was cornered. But Maya Richardson hadn't survived the bureau by waiting for rescue. As the man stood to leave, he slid the file onto the table. For one split second, the guards relaxed, their attention shifting. And that was enough. Maya lunged forward, grabbing the folder, slamming it into the nearest officer's throat. He stumbled back, gasping, as she twisted, slamming her cuffs into the other officer's jaw. The serpent man shouted, but she was already moving, cuffs clattering, adrenaline surging. She bolted down the hall, sirens blaring overhead. The file clutched to her chest like it was oxygen. Every step echoed. Every shout behind her got closer. She slammed through a side door, bursting into the night air behind the precinct. Rain poured down. Tires screeched. A black SUV waited, headlights off. The passenger door opened. Maya, get in. Her breath caught. It was Special Agent Brooks, her bureau partner, the one person she thought she could trust. She dove inside, soaked and trembling. But as the SUV sped off, she noticed it. On Brooks's wrist, a serpent insignia, her chest constricted, her partner, her mentor, the man she trusted with her life. One of them. Brooks caught her stare. His smile was chilling. You really thought you were investigating them alone? Maya's blood turned to ice. The conspiracy wasn't just inside the precinct. It was inside the bureau. She gripped the file tighter, her only lifeline now. But Brooks leaned closer, his voice a whisper drowned by the rain and engine roar. Hand it over, Maya, or your son doesn't make it to school tomorrow. Her heart stopped. Her son, he knew. Kindly support our channel. Like and subscribe for more interesting and powerful stories.